Alright, it's Monday, April 15th. I think Friday night I hooked up the injection lines and return lines and everything, got everything hooked up, and I just turned the fuel on, let her sit, because I didn't have the PTO back together. And now I have the PTO back together. I put it together last night, well, yesterday. It was kind of aggravating. Getting the seals in, getting the bearings tight and things like that. I didn't make any video of it, but needless to say, I put all new clutches in it, and everything's good. So far, I don't have any leaks out the PTO shaft. So that's that. I've got filled her back up with the rear end grease. Hooked up all my lines. I've got the cover back on. I've got the spring and the plunger in the middle of the shaft. It keeps it back in the pump. I hooked up the shut-off cable. And yeah, I didn't shut because it was just crank because there's no primer pump on this thing to prime it, but she really sounds strong now. Hold on, here we go. I got her idling about 600 RPM, and she seems a lot more responsive than she was. I'm sure that old pump was just plumb wore out, so I'm real happy with the way she sounds and the way she runs. I haven't had it out of the shop even. Like I said, it was late last night till I got done with it, and I was just disgusted with it, so I just left her sit here. But she starts and runs real good. And make sure the key's off. I'm real happy with it, so I don't seem to have any leaks anymore on the fuel system. No more leaks back here. So I'm thinking we're good to go. I'm going to use it a little bit more and make sure we don't have any other problems with it. So yeah, hold on, I'll bring you back. This is my latest acquisition. I don't know, I was talking to Jake Ziegler about doing strip till, and I was looking for a good corn planter frame, and neighbor went to an auction and bought this thing. It was a little more complete. It had the fertilizer boxes on it, and it had the seed boxes, and it was all here. It was fairly rusted. They left the fertilizer in the hoppers, and I think it was in a shed with a leaking roof. But basically all I want's the frame. These row units I'll probably put on a pallet because they'll fit my 7000 John Deere. Most everything is wore out. I mean, the openers are wore out. The closing wheels are wore out. The bushings and the parallel bars are wore out. Not the only thing it is good. the axle. They hauled it pretty far from the auction, and then I bought it off the neighbor. You got to remember, the neighbor only paid $75 for it. He took off what he wanted, and I gave him $100 for it. So I'm only into this thing for $100. So if it's scrap, I can get that out of it in scrap. But the reason I bought a Kinsey, because right there, that frame, and Jake said they used a white planer, and the tongue on it was so flimsy, but this is all heavy iron in here, so, and that's what it is. It's a Kinsey, I don't know, model PT, but yeah, it's a real heavy frame, and it's got the markers on it and things. So got the fertilizer hoppers, which I may or may not use. I need to widen it up a little bit, make it a 6-row planter, so I have to add another 30 inches to each side. But from the looks of that frame, I think it'll handle it. So anyhow, that's my latest acquisition. So it's got hydraulic markers. And the neighbor, he started tearing it apart, and he decided they were just going to haul it to the scrapyard, and I bought it off of him. So that's how I acquired it. So anyhow, thanks for watching.